Okay, so here's the deal. Obviously, we have the Heresy reveal today, and what should I? How do I word this? The the community sentiment is at an all-time low. So this is going to be critically judged, and if you can't, if you can't handle harsh criticism, this is your warning to leave now. Because every time I do this, there's always somebody who gets their feelings very hurt. Okay? We're going to be trying to look at this as objectively as possible because they really need a W here. We're in bad territory. Okay? All right. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Hey, Andy.
It's good to see y'all again, Guardians. Welcome here to Bungie HQ.
I like
We're
Andy.
broadcasting live from beautiful Bellevue, Washington, today with our stream that's going to be talking through some of the awesome stuff you're going to be able
Andy
to check out
Salisbury
just
steak.
next week when Act 1 of Episode Heresy launches on February 4th. Now, worry not, you're not going to just have to sit here and listen to me. My name's Andy. I work on the social media team here at Bungie, but I've got some amazing colleagues here to go ahead and share some of the finer details of all the cool stuff we're going to be checking out today. So
Let's do it.
to not waste any time and show y'all what you came here to see, let's go ahead and introduce everyone so we can get to it. First things first, this gentleman to my left, a brand new addition to our show. If you've joined us before, you may recognize his face, or not recognize his face, rather. The one and only Mr. The one and only Mr. Nico Stevens, narrative architect here at Bungie. Nico, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Andy?
Doing well, thank you.
volume better?
Obviously, your first time joining us. For anyone that may not have followed you on social media or may be wondering what it is a narrative architect does, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Sure. So I joined Bungie.
Bungie.
I joined Bungie back in Season of Undying, like right at the tail end of that, and I've been working on seasonal content from then up until now and doing the episode stuff.
Yeah.
And I've done a few annual releases here and there, did some Final Shape stuff. People might know my work from Presage or Warlord's Ruin or some of those.
Prestige is like my favorite exotic mission of all
Yeah.
time. Not even kidding.
I'm a little biased, but I do
it's
love it.
so good. All right, we can talk about that at another time. But thank you for being here, Nico. We appreciate it. Next to him, someone who's joined us in the past. Actually, if you joined us for our episode Echoes stream, you probably recognize his face immediately. The one and only Ryan Harris, senior designer here at Bungie. Ryan, welcome back.
Hey, Ryan.
How's it going?
It's going well, man. Thank you very much. For anyone that maybe didn't join us on the last Echo stream or is just seeing you for the first time, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
For sure, yeah. So I'm a senior activity designer here at Bungie. I've been around since Season of the Plunder. Folks may know my content that I've worked on
That's a
from
rough season to join
most
in.
recently, the Battlegrounds, from Echoes, and then before that, Savathûn Spire, and then the Defiant Battlegrounds.
Yeah, another one today to add to the best hits, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here, Ryan. We appreciate it. And last but very not least, someone who needs no introduction, a friend to all Guardian kind, a
Hi,
voice
Dylan.
of all of you fine folks out in chat, here in the studio, the Youngblood Dillionaire himself, Dylan Gaffner. Dylan, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you. How are you doing, Andy? Question number 3.
Doing so well, thank you! Exclamation point! Period. To that same end, you are the global community lead here. Can you tell the folks at home that may not have accosted you on Blue Sky or anything like that, just a little bit about who you are and what
Blue
it is you do
Sky?
here?
Yeah, I mean, we're listening. I'm that guy. Bread, hashtag meme. But ultimately, yeah, we, on the community team, we make sure to field all your feedback, get our roadmap of comms together for what's in a TWID, how can we set expectations, what's all the cool stuff going on in Destiny in the game or outside of it, too.
Yeah.
Speaking of outside of it, I want to do a quick shout out to Mactix. We have a Game to Give charity marathon going on right now. Actually, his time slot coincides with ours. So throughout this, we're going to be dropping links in chat to his charity page.
Awesome.
So if you want to support a good cause, help out the Bungie Foundation and all the people in need, yeah, hit up that link, check out the incentives, and donate some money if you can. If you can't, totally fine.
Yep.
Spread the word.
And hey, do yourself a huge favor while you're out there. Give Mactix a follow. Steal some of his builds. I know I do. I mentioned it last stream. All right, so that is enough about us. Let's talk about the cool things that you guys have been building. Obviously, we're about to go ahead and arrive at Act 1 of Heresy. But before we get there, Nico, I'd love to ask you really quickly, what got us to where we are today? Obviously, we're concluding episode Revenant, but a lot has occurred. Can you catch anyone up at home about what happened last time?
Yeah, so the story of the Echoes, which the episodes encompass, has it was kicked off from the Final Shape. So at the end of the Final Shape, we kill the Witness.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler.
Supposedly.
That witness is dead.
So we take out the witness, and from the witness and from the Pale Heart, we see all of these echoes like burst out and start flying across Sol.
Yeah.
The first one that we encountered was in the hands of Maya Sundaresh. We dealt with her. She escaped. Second one we encountered was in the hands of Fikrul. We dealt with him. He did not escape. And then the third one that we are encountering is going to be here in the Dreadnought. And after it left the Pale Heart, a very specific dread that we're going to be seeing this episode gave chase to it. So we're going to be dealing with the Dread and the Taken and the Hive all revolving around this third echo.
Excellent. Very exciting. All right. So we have up on screen here in just a moment, I think, the key art now for this next episode.
That's kind of cool. It's like space tentacles.
There's a lot going on here,
Yeah.
but Nico, I'll leave it to you. Can you tell us just a little bit about what we're seeing here?
Yeah. So I think the first thing that's probably going to draw a lot of people's eye is that ghostly visage of Oryx peeking over the top there. So Oryx is, I'll just say Oryx is back to some capacity.
Oh my fucking god. Don't worry, guys. At the end of what was the last expansion called? Final Shape. We're gonna be done with the Light and Darkness saga. We're moving on to the next one. But hey, guys, Oryx is back. Open up your wallets. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
And the Echo has a lot to do with that. So not only are the Guardians jumping through, trying to figure out what exactly is going on in this first act,
And
but
nobody
they're
has any
dealing
idea
with
what's
this
going on, bro.
old foe that has been dredged up from the bones of the Dreadnought. And I don't want to reveal too much, but we're going to be clashing.
The Guardians will be there very soon. But
Oryx
we're
is
dealing
back.
obviously again with the Taken King again in some form. So we have some old foes returning. But before we go ahead and move on into gameplay and dive into that, we have some old allies returning as well. Can you tell us about some of the folks we're going to be working with this time around as well?
Yeah, so
Eris
our main
Morn.
cast right now is Eris Morn, which is our...
You can't make it up. I swear to God, I didn't watch this. I was sleeping. Wow. I swear on everything. I did not watch it. Bro, come on. Dude.
resident
bro.
witch hive
Oh my
expert.
God.
A lot of people know her from Season of the Witch, aptly named, or even further back. Season of Arrivals is kind of like the first time that she jumped back into this new sort of saga,
she's like obvious,
story.
but it's like...
So we have Eris Morn. She is, as I said, our resident hive expert.
We'll talk more
We have
later
the Drifter,
about it.
her faithful companion, who's following alongside and helping us kind of pick apart what the Taken are doing here.
Yeah.
I think I said at some point before that he always has his finger in the weird of the universe.
He certainly does.
And there's some weird going on here.
Excellent.
And then finally, we have Deputy Commander Sloan.
He's doing what to the universe?
And Sloan is our Titan representation here. People will remember her from Season of the Deep or even the Red War. And she has been afflicted with this like Taken corruption that we saw back in Season of the Deep. And she's learned how to sort of hold it back, but also utilize it to make her stronger.
Yeah.
So she is going to be teaching us some of that.
Yeah, that's we're going beyond once again.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say. So we've obviously got a whole new cast of friends and enemies to go up against, but really quickly as well.
Andy, I love you, but that is not a new cast at all. That's completely the opposite. Or what is his name? Oryx? Eris? Sloan. Those characters have been around for probably an average of like 7 years, if you combine them.
Well, something we were talking about.
They
a little
still
bit
have-
earlier
yeah,
in the
they've
show
done nothing
is,
with the
player
9.
journey as well. It's something you guys are really excited about this time around.
That's what I
Can you tell
wanna
us a little
see.
bit about how play.
Like, okay, sorry, little side tangent here. If we're really going to introduce new characters and something, if we're going to actually care about, like, the story over, like, the state of the game, we need something with the 9. That is something that I feel like people might actually be interested in, / would think is actually cool. Instead of it just being like a little nostalgic trip or whatever you want to call it.
Players are going to be
A
experiencing
lot of
some these
opportunity
quests.
there.
Yeah, so, okay, so players have been talking a lot about the structure of the player journey and how they'd kind of like to see it shaken up a bit, right? So this is going to be kind of one of our first steps into trying to make that happen in a more tangible way.
Cool.
So you will still notice some of those elements of like returning to a vendor or something like that. But you're also going to notice that we're doing a lot more bespoke, spread out delivery for these beats.
Cool.
You're going to find characters like in the midst of a mission sometimes.
Yeah.
There's some new tech that I don't want to spoil. I want players to see it in
That's
the
right,
game.
yeah, yeah.
But there's some new tech having to do with the way that we would holo project characters.
Yeah.
In that sort of projection unit that you would find in the helm.
Yeah.
We're expanding that out so that it's
We're getting a new holo projector? Oh, here we go, dude.
versatile, and it
Oh,
is
boy.
more cognizant of where players want to be and less about like having to return to this one spot and kind of loop through the helm over and over again.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys. Obviously, I'm sure our audience of Guardians who have let Dylan know and his compatriots loud and clear what we're looking for are happy to be hearing that. So that's exciting.
Let me go to the helm. Let me talk to this character. Let me go back to the helm. Let me talk to this character.
Is there a holo projector somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, really exciting. So as we kind of move into that player journey,
Yeah, maybe we're gonna
we're gonna be working.
instead of it being a holo projector, I think you're right. Maybe we actually like get a phone and we call him on FaceTime. Yo, Eris, what's good, bitch? What do you want me to do?
on something called the Path of Resolve. Can you tell us just a little bit about what that is before we dive into the gameplay here in just a moment?
Yes, so there is an event that happens at the beginning of the episode,
Exciting.
which people will see very, very soon after the launch.
Yeah.
And this sort of kicks off, I'm going to choose my words very carefully here.
Redacted.
Redacted, yes.
This redacted event sort of kicks off Sloane's motivation for teaching us about the taken power that she has been holding back.
Yeah.
And so that is the path of resolve here. She's going to be teaching us how to fight fire with fire. We're going to be going into the Dreadnought, taking some control of that taken energy, taking some control of those old hive magics, and wielding them using our light and using our paracausality, wielding that new power against our enemies.
Very nice. All right, we're going to be obviously keeping Sloan very busy.
Oh, yeah.
With that. But speaking of, we actually have our requisite local fire team here in-house in the activity as well. Ryan, this is the Nether. This is the new activity that's going to be arriving with Act 1 of episode Heresy. Can you tell us?
Please, okay, listen, I'm not trying to be that guy, but please tell me this is not like a hint to like a Minecraft collaboration. Like, I love Minecraft, but like, dude. This is a separate tangent that, again, I'll go on later, but like, never mind. I'm not gonna even bring it up yet.
For
I'll
starters,
wait.
as we go ahead and kind of dive into
I'll
it.
wait.
Yeah, so the Nether is a 3-player activity, and we are back on the Dreadnought's patrol zones. And we'll be exploring the Dreadnought, rooting out the Taken Hive and Dread Corruption that are taking place and taking hold inside the Dreadnought itself as we go through these spaces. And the Nether itself is a uniquely different type of activity. We're really trying to baseline, some inspiration for this activity was looking at Shattered Realm, the Coil, and of course the Dreadnought's patrol spaces. Of course, we are in the Dreadnought.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just for starters, what you're actually doing inside the Dreadnought is baseline. The patrol zones are randomized and varied. The encounters inside are varied and randomized as well. So time over time, when you launch into the activity, it's going to be a different starting bubble, different encounters, and different events and objectives for you to engage with and accomplish as you're exploring the Dreadnought itself.
Yeah. What kind of like modifiers would you say players are going to go up against in here? Because surely they're not just going to go into the Dreadnought and get a warm welcome necessarily.
Yes. Yeah, so the Nether has some very unique modifications to it that we're experimenting with. So first off, players do not regenerate health. And to compensate for that, we are...
Let me just stop you right there. literally every one of the worst modifiers in the game either has to do with like getting no ammo or no health regen. Why do they keep thinking this is a good idea? Just wait? Okay.
Are doing something special where we're providing players with plus 300 bonus health baseline to their original HP values and plus 75 shield value. So alongside that, we really want to make your health regeneration or your health as like a resource as you're fighting through this, as we are looking at this as a very rogue-lite experience, and we need resources to contend with to make and hit that rogue-lite. Emphasis on light there, of course, because this is still a very uniquely Destiny experience. And we have a lot of things contributing to that as well. So we do have ammo scarcity as well, so players won't be getting as much ammo, but there will be ways.
Bro. Again, I'm gonna try and hold back the tangents for more towards the end.
That will improve your power over time as you engage with the activity.
Nice. That progressive sort of idea of like power and building up how strong you are as you're moving through the Nether.
They really did turn this into a roguelike, didn't they? No ammo, no health. After you clear a room, you get 3 options. Here's the thing, like, I don't even think it's, like, necessarily a bad idea. It all just comes down to, why am I doing this? And again, why the fuck am I back on the Dreadnought? Because if there's no real good incentive, then, like, people aren't going to care. I don't think the idea is bad. I don't. I just, like, again, the word new is, like, I feel like that's, like, an illegal word at this company.
That roguelite experience.
Just going to throw it out
it's
there.
It's also reflective of
I know that, bro, because I already know people are, this is where the feelings really are going to start getting hurt. Well, Mr. Sweat, this is new. This is a reformed version of the Dreadnought. Like, dude, guys, this is not 2015, okay? It is 2025. This Taken King is almost 10 years old, bro. It's almost 10 years old. Destiny needs to move forward from the things that made it good. If it doesn't move forward, it will never evolve and it will continue to die.
Yeah, building yourself up,
hard, honest
pushing
truth.
Deeper into the Dreadnought. Yeah. The Dreadnought is resisting you. It's trying to make sure you can't like move towards the Echo and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And this is you finding ways to like pierce the veil and move beyond their barriers.
Yeah, new foes and new challenges obviously warrant new strategies.
So old it's new again.
Saying like ammo and health is kind of like a resource.
That's the thing. Again, sorry to pause again, but like, you're right. It's either one of those things where it's so old it's new again. The main people that this appeals to is people who didn't get a chance to play D1 and people who love nostalgia. Those are like the only groups that I feel like this really appeals to. And I don't know how wide their new audience is at this point. I feel like they've exhausted most of their potential new audience at this point. That was sarcasm? No, but it's true. Like there is some aspect to like something being so old it feels new when it comes back. But we've been in a cycle of doing this with different planets on a consistent basis that it's not new. It's not, it doesn't feel new when it is something that is consistently happening. This isn't like a one-time treat. This is a pattern at this point.
So you're not seeing it drop off of enemies and stuff like that, but there are things that you can find like a resource and collect and all that.
Yeah, so we have destination materials. We have urns and pots kind of placed around everywhere, and also destination chests that players can find. And when you break these destructible pots, they'll explode into like a rain of health, ammo, heavy ammo, sometimes boons, sometimes revive
Holy
tokens.
cheese and crackers! I hecking love reused content! Can't wait to update this on Reddit! New stuff is bad! I'm gonna bat chest! Bat chest!
Thank you, Gilbert Gottfried. Thank you.
5 tokens here as a resource as well, so you really need to manage, but like there are avenues to get more revive tokens. There is more avenues to get help and ammo. So we really want players to explore the Dreadnought and encourage that exploration by looking for these urns, looking for the chests, and like searching for those boons, because there's multiple avenues and like ways for players to search out and go get them.
Yeah, and I mean that resource scarcity is really going to make you want to chase those down, and I can imagine that health is a sight for sore eyes.
Absolutely.
To that end as well, actually, you know, obviously you mentioned we're back at the Dreadnought, but I can't imagine it's the exact same one. Can you tell us a little bit about how the Dreadnought has changed?
Yeah, so since the Echo has hit the Dreadnought, a lot of the spaces have changed and like modified. A lot of the skin of the Dreadnought ship has like peeled back, revealing bone and chitin and showing off new secrets, new pathways. So you are in familiar spaces if you've played the Dreadnought before, but there is a lot of new, interesting, unique pathways. Things have changed. Things have become abnormally different.
Oh, there goes the fire team.
And that's the last we ever saw.
There goes 2 revive tokens.
As mysteriously as they arrived, they were gone.
Yeah.
And we've kind of like, for players who are wanting that explorative aspect, right? We've kind of like separated out the modes a little bit, so people can go in and they can explore the Dreadnought, but people who are like looking to just bust through the activity and get loot, they have a different match-made mode, right?
Absolutely. So the Nether has currently 3 modes. So there's the Nether exploration for those solo type experiences, but they can bring their fire team in as well if they'd like to. And this is more of like that patrol-esque experience that you're looking for. I want to explore at my own like pace. I want to look for secrets. I want to just engage with the space like it was a patrol space back in the day.
Yeah.
It still is the Nether experience of where you're going from. You're playing through the 3 bubbles and there's escalating difficulty, but we do grant to you in that mode a multitude of revives. So you have a way larger pool of revives, so you can make mistakes.
Sure.
It's just for those players who want to like explore at their own whim, play at their own pace. And then additionally, there's also damage modifiers for those players when they're engaging with bosses as a solo player, so they can actually tackle those hurdles as they come.
Nice.
And also some modifiers on like how many enemies are spawning, so they don't need to like get swarmed by every single enemy in the world.
You can really take in the skybox for a little while and hang out with your buddies. Yeah.
And then additionally,
Bro, okay, again, I'm not, guys, I don't know why I feel like the need to hold back, but it's like every one of these rooms I've seen so far, these are all literally just reskinned rooms from the Dreadnought. Like, they didn't even try to, like, reorganize the rooms. They're literally the exact same rooms, but, like, a different shade of green. It's because it's the Dreadnought? No. I mean, if you want me to rewind, I will, for the sake of, like, proof. But I literally just listened to them, like, a couple minutes ago say that, like, oh, this is a new version of the Dreadnought. This is, it's, like, rethought out. There's new pathways, new stuff like that.
if you do get lost, because this is, we didn't want to overclutter the spaces with objectives, because there is a lot of things to do, and there's a lot of different things to do in every single bubble and location that you go to in the Dreadnought. If you do get lost, you just pop open your ghost, and there'll be a bunch of star objective icons that'll like let you know where you should be looking and where you should be going for the next spot. Additionally, talking back to those different modes, we do have the match-made mode on advanced baseline difficulty, and then we do have expert as well.
Very cool. Okay, so plenty of challenges for the Guardians that want to undertake those. Make sure they're pushing not only themselves, but the opportunity to get loot as far as they possibly can.
Absolutely. And on that loot note as well,
This LMG
every
looks
time you
sick.
complete a bubble, there
I'm gonna
is
be
a
honest.
chest checkpoint,
I like
so
the
you
scope a lot,
do
and it
get
doesn't
loot
look like it
checkpoints
has that much
essentially. And
recoil.
like the average runtime for like a bubble is 8 to 12 minutes, but you do get the most loot by completing the entire activity as a whole.
Got it.
But there are checkpoints for players who just want to jump in for like 8 to 12 minutes, hit that loot checkpoint. Like,
Is this a
I'm out for
legendary?
now, or players who want to just like rush through it and get all the loot at every single end of every single bubble check.
Oh, yes, it is. There it is. Watchful Eye.
Very cool. Okay. All right. And then also, I think, you know, in addition to the modifiers we're talking about, the boon system is one that I heard you mention a little bit earlier. I'd love to actually kick off the conversation about that. I think we maybe saw the folks in chat that were eagle-eyed that were keeping an eye on the modifiers may have seen something a little bit earlier before. But can you tell us a little bit about the boon system?
Yeah, so the boons here are, we have a multitude of boons. We have minor boons, major boons, and corrupted boons. So minor boons are minor stat increases that are pretty much just to increase your power and incrementally stack. They can stack up to 10, and they're just like the typical like increased light damage,
No, chat, not
increased darkness
booms.
damage, movement speed on
Not
kills.
boobs.
Some are like based on health and regenerate health, and are
Speaking
full
of
mobility
boobs,
increases, like things
exclamation
that'll
point
make you
G-subs,
stronger
guys.
over time and
Code
allow
Sweat.
you to tackle the more difficult bubbles as you approach them.
Yeah.
And then additionally, we have major boons.
Yeah.
And then from there, they're like actually more larger gameplay modifiers that actually affect your abilities and your actions.
Yeah.
And of course now, we do have Eric.
That's right. Yes, actually. So anyone at home that may have noticed, our good friend Nico, please give him a shout out in chat and let him know that you love him, has stepped out of the scene for just a moment, and we are now joined by gameplay feature lead Eric Smith. Eric, how's it going, man?
It's going well. How are you?
That hoodie,
doing well,
dude.
thank you. You guys are all so nice today. I'm so taken aback. For anyone that may not have seen you in the Vidocs or anything like that, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are, what you do here at Bungie as a gameplay feature lead?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm Eric Smith, gameplay feature lead on Destiny 2. So I help create the game's abilities, kind of anything the player can do, the game feel of the game, build crafting, kind of general sandbox stuff. And,
Dude! Bro! If that gets copyrighted, I'm actually banning Scrota.
and make the controller disappear into your hands while you're playing.
Yeah, the many tools we use, you're helping go ahead and make sure that they're all available for us.
For the mouse and keyboard as
Yeah,
well.
that's, I'm just sitting there tapping on an empty desk. That's how my trials teammates feel. So we're talking about the boon system. You obviously had a big hand in this as well. Rather. Can you tell us a little bit about what this system is for, and maybe about the boons the players are going to have available?
Yeah, so there are a bunch of boons available. There are the minor boons that you mentioned, and then there's the major boons. So the major boons are more gameplay affecting, and they will do things like, kind of like we saw in the Pale Heart with the Traveler's Blessings, right? Mm-hmm. Where you pick something up and it kind of gives you a new ability almost. Mm-hmm. One of those in the Pale Heart was Solar Slide, where you run and slide and a solar wave would go out and blow things up.
Yeah.
In this, we have Solar Slide as well, but we also have Stasis Slide, where you run and you slide, and a big stasis wave comes out and makes crystals and free.
Can I ask a favor, please? If you're in charge of all the abilities, can you please make it so my strand melee on Titan actually hits something when I use it? Because it's quite literally a coin flip right now, and I would just really appreciate if my melee actually connected. All this other stuff, it sounds great and nice, but I just would really like my strand melee to work, dude.
Freezes things, and you can blow them up yourself. And there's stuff that is going to allow you to heal more effectively. There's looks like this one's interesting. Reduces damage per piece of episodic armor worn.
Oh, cool.
It is quite significant boost as well.
Yeah. So there's a bunch, and then finally we have the kind of kiss curse boons, as we call them, but they have an official name. What was that?
The corrupted boons. And
Here we go. We're looking at one right now.
yeah, so these corrupted
Dude,
boons are
that's the thing. Like, the concept of wearing armor for additional, rewards or abilities sounds cool, but in practicality, it sucks because it messes up your stats, and having to do it every season is an absolute chore. If you could just throw on ornaments for each season, that would be wonderful. And then I would be more likely to use it. But the thing is then you're also sacrificing your fashion that you literally pay for most of the time. So it's just like a juggling act. It's like they're adding cool things, but it gets no use because people care more about their fashion and their stats than they do getting 2% extra melee damage or something like that.
on offering are offered at the same time as major boons, as players can only obtain 5 to 6 major boons / corrupted boons per run through. Those are granted to players once randomly at one of the 3 encounters inside of the bubble, and then again at the end of the bubble once they complete it. And there's some ritual loop stuff too that will allow them to get another one at the start of a bubble or the start of a run through. But these Kiss Curse or corrupted boons, as we call them, essentially give you a great bonus or increase to a specific thing at the cost of a major negative. So one, for example, here, that I'm really fond of is Glass Cannon, which increases all damage massively, while also increasing all the damage you take.
Yeah.
So-
Which is also, that's the dev name internally, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the dev name.
So if you don't find one specifically named Glass Cannon, we are obviously, we hang out in our own Word docs and Excel sheets quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true. And that one is interesting. It's an interesting choice that you can make since the kind of like the risk to reward ratio, right? Because you have non-regenerating health in here, you really have to come at each encounter with that kind of mindset of health as a resource.
It is.
And make sure that, if I take damage from this enemy or that enemy, it has the potential to stick with me unless I can find a healing source.
Yeah,
really
there's
gotta-
a fire team option too, where it's like every time you're offered those major boons, your teammates can also choose different ones. So it's like, oh hey, 2 of us are going to do that glass cannon, or that external.
Yeah.
And then another person is going to do, oh hey, every time I do a finisher, things are volatile around me, and I get my grenade back, so I can spam more of those, keep you.
Yeah, the
a
bullets
bit
track
safer
on the
when you
healing
get
auto.
swarmed by things.
Yeah.
So that's the other
It's
thing
also good-
too, with like it being a roguelike and you not healing. It's like, does that mean my healing auto, my healing grenade are not gonna work? Because they probably are. Or devour or any other healing ability, then it's like, if they work, then it kind of like, I feel like it just defeats the whole purpose. No? They work, but less? No, but still, like, if you're going to turn it into a roguelike with no healing, like, you either got to turn it all off or... That, I don't know.
To know in the health regeneration aspect, we have the gameplay and sandbox team has tuned a lot of the abilities and weapons that do heal players, so they're not extremely overpowered. So there's been a wide tuning pass on all of this entirely. So you're gonna see when you're trying to heal up your teammate with one of our new support auto rifles.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time, but it does work and it is very efficient and very helpful, especially the abilities. So you're definitely going to spec into healing builds.
Oh man, I have to just
This
give a shout
part
out
is
to
new.
the team on like Season of the Deep. We were
Used
going
to
deep
not be able to
into
go down here.
the oceans of Titan, and now it feels like we're going deep into space, and like the pressure you can feel it, tentacles taking energy. Like they knocked it out of the park with the vibe here. I'm feeling a little claustrophobic, but also like,
Just getting
you feel it.
pulled deeper into the labyrinth, right?
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in addition to, there's obviously modifiers you're going to be facing as a Guardian, as a fire team. There'll be boons available to you, but this episode as well is going to bring with it a bevy of new gear between both armor and weapons. Now, obviously, for the Keen Eyed Guardians in chat, we're
dude,
watching,
he's like
there's
no
obviously some seasonal armor, some episodic armor sets that we have here that you can go ahead and check out firsthand. But I think kind of in the spirit of this activity and build crafting, let's talk about some of the weapons, actually. There's one here on screen, obviously. This is our new support frame auto rifle.
In his strand.
Given that health
Cool.
is such a precious resource in this activity. Eric, can you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, so this is Adamantite. This is our new strand support auto. And it has some really unique features. One of those is that when I heal enemies, so these support autos, there's 2 of them in the game now. When I hip fire at an ally, it'll send out kind of healing rounds at them, right? And then if I need to, shoot an enemy right next to that that ally, I can just ADS and go full offense, right?
Yeah.
But the
I know, that is something that I've noticed too, and they've done this before. Even the devs call it seasonal. They always have to correct themselves to say episodic. Nobody wants this to be called episodes, bro. Just call it a season, please. Just call it what it is, okay? The episodes, that was, bro. Bro. It's no different than a season, bro. And we're not going to sit here and pretend that it is or was, okay?
The healing from this, because you're shooting out strand rounds.
Yeah, it's
if you
about to give
heal
me an episode.
Ally repeatedly, it'll actually cause them to sprout little unravel seeds, which kind of turns them into this like short-term, strand turret.
Throw your friend as a grenade into the fight, right?
Cover them in Telesto boats, put it in, but now it's like, oh hey, I'm
Just
healing you and making you.
Let your hunter friend with the Caliban's Liar's Handshake roll run in there and just keep them alive, right?
And that's why I'm so excited about this
so is that
activity,
not the end?
because we've kind of introduced all these kind of healing things, but in a lot of the game, like I can just hide behind a box and heal, right? And here you can see our health isn't regenerating. So we need to really think about, maybe there is a dedicated healer on your team. Maybe there's multiple allies using the healing rounds, right?
Yeah, honestly, that build.
Well, that really does not give you any healing, does it?
Beyond yourself,
Wow.
just to like per activity, per fire team, whatever you've got. So this one's obviously going to be a ton of fun, but that is far from the only weapon that's being added around. As far as the episodic weapons, are there any others in particular you want to call out?
There are. I do actually want to talk about this one with one more thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
This weapon can roll.
And that makes me think then. Okay, again, not trying to be like, I'm kind of acting as what, there's a word for that, like the devil's advocate. If the healing auto doesn't really like do anything, then like what is the point to get it? You know? I don't know where else I would use this. I'm gonna be honest. Like I really don't know. Debbie Downer? I mean, I guess. Looks cool? Yeah, I mean, if you like the aesthetic, I guess, sure.
Slice and Tear, which are two perks that sever enemies.
Yeah.
It's not often we get a,
because if you're going to use this, you want to use it for the healing. Otherwise, you could just use, what is the other one? Rufus? Is that what it's called?
And that's going to play into things like the artifact this season, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
But, we'll get there.
So there's Adamantite,
I remember Rufus
which
being
is
pretty
a
decent.
really solid weapon. And then let's look at Psychopomp. So Psychopomp is our new area denial grenade launcher.
Such a good name.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm glad they're doing another one of these, though. The AOD GLs are really good. It's like a legendary Wither Horde.
It's just Psychopomp.
Looks pretty
Let's
sick.
go.
So Psychopomp, so these area denial grenade launchers, the fantasy of these things is like a flamethrower, right? We don't have flamethrowers in the game, but this is as close as you can get to a flamethrower. So
Actually, we have Dragon's Breath. Actually,
I'm going to now.
I'll have you know that
this thing has a
spits
really cool
fire.
perk on it that keys into our new arc keyword bolt charge, which we'll also talk about in a bit. And also it works with Amplified as well. So this thing, if you are arc build crafted this season and arc has received a ton of love, this thing is going to absolutely slay out.
Yeah, it's one we'll definitely get to see our fire team put it to good use here. But as someone who's been building area denial grenade launchers into my loadout, I can't wait. Honestly, the second I learned this was on the docket, I was so excited.
The folks that have been working on these weapons too, like the general look of them, it goes along with what you were saying of, oh hey, the Dreadnought's kind of peeling back. If you look at the weapon, you can see like, oh my gosh, there's like
the bone.
There's
the weapon.
core.
They actually look cool.
Actually,
I will
Dylan,
give them that.
Also,
That's the thing. Like I've always been kind of critical of is most seasonal weapons look really stupid, but these actually look cool.
previous one on Adamantite, that one was an adept weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me pull out my handy dandy notebook.
There we go.
Oh, here's the meme.
Screen cap. Yeah.
But yeah, you can notice that for this go of our episodic weapons, you can earn adept weapons, and these are we're considering or calling them our heretical arsenal.
Got it.
Heresy, heretical.
Yeah.
Like we're going deep into this.
It's not
theme.
theoretical, it's heretical. Love it. Yeah.
You can see that it has a new or a different treatment to the colors. It's kind of like the holofoils from Into the Light.
Okay. Yeah.
Not so much exactly that of, hey, it's an ornament, but like this has the base dye and all that, and it looks really good. Shout out to the team. But you can also notice there are multiple perks in each column. There's actually an extra origin trait as well. Shout out Taken King, all that kind of stuff from a raid near you. But there's a very interesting ways of earning these weapons. So you're going to be going into these activities, upping that difficulty. You're going to be exploring the Dreadnought and looking for these. As well with the episodic weapons, there are going to be new fragile mods. So they're called fragile because these will be expiring at the close of the episode.
Okay.
But they're going to give you pretty insane bonuses to your outgoing power. So not necessarily the power of the weapon, but the actual like versatility of it.
Yeah.
One of these, I have the power of resolve. Rapid hits, they create Taken Seekers. They're really good against champs.
Yeah.
So that's an example. There are going to be a couple at launch and then more coming with each act.
Yeah.
But,
That might be
these will
kinda cool,
great
actually.
In Nightfalls, would be great in higher content.
Champions in shambles.
Yeah. And then for when you're going in and earning these weapons, there was a ton of feedback, and we absolutely heard you. We're listening about the tonic system. So
Dylan, I love you. I really do. But please, dude, if there's one phrase that gets me more angry than anything when I listen to like any Vidoc, is when they say the words "we're listening." I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. Because I feel like it's so much easier to see it. That, I'm just being honest.
So there are things with like the user experience was a bit rough of having to go back in, create more tonics, trigger them in the middle of activities because they were running out.
Yeah.
The team really took that to heart. They want to make sure that there's agency in how you're earning these weapons. So they're going to be making it through the Tome of Want. You can kind of target these weapons. You don't need to go in and do this a ton of times. You can say, hey, I want to go for this auto rifle. I want to go for this grenade launcher, linear fusion rifle, and I really want to be going for that to try to get these heretical versions.
Yeah.
So effectively, like, I don't want to say more loot because it's not going to be like, oh, hey, you're getting 10 times more.
Yeah.
But it's going to feel like, oh, hey, I have a goal of getting this loot, and now I'm going to go and play the game and get what I'm looking for.
Definitely. No, it's super exciting, honestly. Just having those more opportunities to just, break your loadouts out a little bit, find new ways to go ahead and really excel, especially given the challenges we're going to be going up against on the Dreadnought.
And with the fragile mods, like, it's baking into that exploration. Like you were saying, how do you find them again?
Yeah, so they can be found through secrets and chests found in the Nether. They're spread out. They're hidden pretty well, but I imagine folks will find them over time or through some YouTube videos.
Yeah. Rick Cack is here.
We're going to wait for. We won't miss it this time. Fallout.
Ricky!
Make some guides for us. We'd greatly appreciate it. So.
Iswerg.
Iswerg, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
One of the best communities out there.
Let's see. Anything else? Yeah, I mean, the last keyword I want to throw on there is aspirational.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we want to have tools that players want to go and find, want to earn, and increase their power.
Yeah. So
And
we've got a
that
couple
I
more
can
weapons I definitely wanna
appreciate,
talk
but
about.
how
We're
are we
reprising
gonna
some
do
as
that?
Well. But we have a brief reprieve from combat. I'd love to actually go ahead. I know you mentioned earlier aspects, Eric.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, what do you think of the drip? Let me rewind. There we go. That's the new Trials armor, isn't it? Looks like Merc's Warlock. I actually think, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Is it enough for me to want to play Trials? Probably not, but I'll admire from a distance.
Let's go ahead and take a look really quickly. We got our friendly neighborhood Warlock here up first. Can you tell us about the new aspects the Guardians are going to have this time around?
Ooh, new
Absolutely.
aspects.
So the Warlock has a new aspect called Ionic Sentry. And Ionic Sentry, when you defeat targets with kinetic or arc weapons or arc abilities, you kind of charge this thing that you see in low gauge on your screen, much like Gunpowder Gamble, if you're familiar with that.
Absolutely.
When that's full, it grants you a bonus grenade that you can then throw out. On impact, it blinds anything nearby and then spawns this like little arc turret, right? That zaps things, chains to different things. And every time it zaps something, it accumulates a stack of bolt charge. So bolt charge is our new arc keyword. And what this does is when you have a stack of bolt charge, any damage you do, it's going to give you additional stacks. Once you hit 10 stacks, your next ability damage is going to create this giant lightning bolt that comes out of nowhere, hits the ground, and just like fries everything nearby, right?
That's kind of cool.
So what Ionic Sentry can do is not only generate the stacks, but because it is ability damage in itself, it can expend the stacks. So you send this thing out and it is doing work.
You're throwing a meat grinder at them, basically.
Yeah, they keep giving Warlock all like the broken buddy abilities. So
I mean, given that's going to be using the new keyword as well, like it's not just going to be for mobs of trash. It's like you can throw this down against the big bosses and obviously have it blind them and do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, this is great against bosses because any healthy targets, it's going to be continually zapping them, granting you those stacks, and then discharging the stacks as well.
Yeah. All right.
It's like an offensive version of the Stasis Warlock turret too. So it's like, let's say you stack them and you're going into onslaught, so you have your freeze. It's like, I need these enemies to leave me alone. But then you come in and you're like, it's time we're going to boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew, man. They're gone.
Sure, but it also, if you are in trouble, kind of like the stasis thing, like let's hit the pause button. The blinding aspect of this, I can just kind of throw it out and smoke bomb and hide, right? If I need to,
All right, so Warlocks obviously have a brand new tool to add to their toolbox, but the other classes do as well. Which one should we show them next?
Let's stick with the arc thing. So let's go to Titan. So Titan, we have Storm's Keep. In this is like a barricade modification. So any barricade you drop, it's going to kind of be electrified. And standing behind this electrified is going to passively accumulate bolt charge on you.
Yeah.
So I drop this on the ground. I start shooting enemies from behind my barricade. Let's say it's a rally barricade. Or like,
Bro, shut up!
reworked Titan's ramparts, you know, the barricade you can shoot through.
Oh, yeah.
And that is going to be kind of building those stacks up and discharging them as I'm firing my weapon.
Okay.
Like I said, bolt charge is usually only ability damage that discharges it.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm standing behind Storm's Keep, my weapon damage is going to discharge it as well.
Got it.
So it kind of turns any weapon you want into like a quasi Thunderlord.
Not necessarily an arc weapon then in this case.
Correct,
It's
yeah.
exciting. Okay.
Yeah. So this one's spicy. I think we're going to see this in a lot of damage phases, and you know, we can play this all we want.
There's a lot of theoreticals we can
Yeah,
dive into.
Dude, here's the thing. Like, just Arc Titan in itself just isn't good enough. I don't know if it will be with this change, but like, unless you're running Prismatic Arc Titan, I never, ever use Arc Titan. Maybe it'll change, maybe it won't. But like, I feel like the only time I find myself using Thunder Crash is when it's paired with like Consecration. So.
Right? Yeah, totally.
in
Yeah.
dev, and then we drop it into the world, and you know, we'll see how we need to tune this thing. Maybe it's up, maybe it's down. But we want it to be powerful, and I think it is powerful.
There's a lot of like players
We'll
saw
see.
this preview in the TWID. I think it was last week, and
believe so.
they immediately noticed the animation for the Titan was changed, right? So when you went down to
Pretty
put down the
good.
barricade, it was like
Well, it's
this
good
big
for PvP, but
thunderclap,
like
hey, I'm
PvE,
gonna charge
I just don't
everybody
think
up,
it has a
right?
lot of
Yeah,
versatility.
and the animation
in my
went through
opinion.
a lot of different kind of versions. You know, we put so much love into all of these abilities because you know, it's in the game forever, and we want it to be right. So, you know, there were like slams and like
Not really?
blazes.
Well, maybe
and,
not
you know,
anymore,
we
I don't
ended
know.
up with the thunderclap, and our animators are godlike. They're absolutely incredible at their jobs.
Yeah,
So, but then it's animation. It's like the VFX artists have to time everything to the animation, and then the sound
Right.
design people have to.
Did they say they were fully reworking Prismatic Titan? Because, dude, the biggest gripe I have, I think, is like the melee and the grenade. Like, arc grenades, you can make them okay, but like I feel like Thunderclap is like such a such a niche use case that it's like almost useless. Because you have to like pre-charge it and then you have to like stand still, and it's like, I don't know. Obviously Thunder Crash in itself is great, and there's like a lot of good things that could go along with it, but it's just
time
not
into
enough for
that,
me to be
and
like,
then the test has to make
yeah, I
sure
want
we're
to
not
use this
breaking
over
anything. It's like,
Strand or
we
literally
so much work
anything
goes into,
else.
to even, you know, one aspect like this, and we're really excited
Yeah.
to put it in players' hands.
Yeah, it's a coalescence of art and science that you guys do that consistently blows my mind. But now we've got obviously one more for our friendly neighborhood hunters like myself.
Yeah.
as
Best
well.
for last.
This one will be able to get you out of sticky situations as well. So
Yes.
yeah.
So Arcstrider already has for arc aspects.
Oh, so they gave it a
they
void
needed
one.
in their void slot. So we gave Night Stalker on the prowl. And shout out to the boy Danny Nanny, who is the designer for this one.
Yeah.
So on the prowl, you kind of become a hit person, right?
Yeah.
And you whenever you go invisible, like you get a contract to kill something in the area.
Yeah.
And that thing is marked, and a little, you know, a target shows up on them for you and your allies. If you successfully complete that contract and whack that jabroni, right? You.
Sorry, Jabroni.
No, excellent use of jabroni. Yeah.
Thank you. So
It's canon now, everyone.
so
Okay.
I whack a jabroni, whack a jabron, and then what happens is my entire team gets some energy, right? And this is kind of a callback to Heart of the Pack from the old Night Stalker. It originally was actually a callback where we gave you stats, but then because we're working the stats coming up, like we decided to just give you ability energy, right? Yeah. So ability energy, and then the victim, if successfully executed, explodes into a cloud of smoke, which I can then enter to become invisible again. thereby marking a new target. So I can kind of chain these like assassinations as I move throughout a strike or
So
something. and
Hunters
my entire
continuing to
team
stay
can
invisible and
take,
not benefit the team
can be
whatsoever.
advantaged by
Oh, nice. So you can bring your fire team through the same cloud of smoke.
same
Everyone
cloud
goes
of smoke.
invis.
Everyone goes invisible.
Classic Hunter move.
So yeah, you're kind
all
of sneaking.
spicy, man. Jeez.
It's on the prowl. We're prowling through the activity.
You can already see like one of the exotic pairings on the screen too. Those creepy eyes freak me out every time. But Omnioculus, like that's going to benefit the smoke and all that kind of stuff. You could pair
Yeah.
with Lorentz Driver. Sorry, Ritz on social media asking for some gameplay today, but we have too much to go through.
Yeah.
But it's like you're.
It actually could be
embodying that
useful.
I'm a bounty hunter fantasy, so your gun can be giving you.
I
bounties.
found the Hunter main in chat. The rest of the team gets invisible too. How does that not benefit the fire team? Brother, if you couldn't tell I was rustling your jimmies, then I don't know what to tell you. If you thought I was being dead serious, I really don't know what to tell you. They're so easy to bait. The Hunter mains fall for it every single time, bro.
Through Lorentz Driver, you're getting bounties through this. There's going to be a lot of combinations in build crafting.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned too.
Titan
Wyzen,
main?
right?
Sure.
Yeah, Gwizen. I always call it Gwizen.
We believe
but
you.
Gwizinvest got a rework. So when you exit invisibility, it emits a weakening cloud of smoke, and then some super energy perks as well. So
Nice.
there's going to be a lot of strong pairings, and then with the artifact, Void features in the artifact pretty heavily too.
You know what? Honestly, you just gave me the best segue I could possibly imagine. We have looked, obviously, we've begun to scratch the surface of some of the new build crafting opportunities y'all are going to have. But obviously, we got a new artifact as well this episode. We've got the Tablet of Ruin, which seemed aptly named. Now, just as a starting point, can you let us know the general theme of this one?
Yeah, so the theme of this episode's artifact is kind of subjugation and.
Bro, you did not link your Destiny profile and say proof for it. Bro, I don't care that much, man. It's not that serious, bro. Relax. Okay? Relax. Oh my god,
being
dude.
enemies to your will.
Oh my god.
Essentially, as we are going back into the Dreadnought, it was unlikely that the Dread or the Hive were going to come peacefully, so we got to bring the big guns to force their hand.
Absolutely.
Essentially.
Yeah, it's not about us winning, it's about them losing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Tablet of Ruin is there to ruin their day, essentially. I'll call out some highlights of mine from here. If we look at column 5, because column 5,
Column 5's a strong one.
that's where
we got to go
heavy hitters,
right to the chase.
we have
So in 50 days is Act 3. When is that? That's like March. Not quite March. So
Void, which one is it? It's called Void Flux.
What, June
Void
for the
Flux.
expansion,
So
maybe?
defeating
If
weakened
we're lucky?
targets with a Void weapon
Maybe?
applies volatile to
I know it's
nearby
a dev
targets,
build,
and
so I
then
don't
you
know if
pair
these
that
numbers are
with the
accurate.
column 4 Maligned Harvest, and rapidly applying volatile causes your next instance of Void weapon damage to weaken, which then feeds back into the other one. And it's like, if you can get this this engine going, in a crowded room, it's nasty.
Me and my fellow Fighting Lion addicts are going to have a really good time. This one I can already tell. The Fighting Lion subreddit, I want to see some clips. That's all
And
I'm
then
saying.
I also want to call out Horde Shuttle in
Yeah,
here.
please.
So Horde Shuttle, damaging unraveled targets with a weapon, occasionally spawns a Threadling. This is really good for your strand builds, especially against high health targets. Because I unravel them, they stay unraveled. I keep shooting them, they're just popping Threadlings out, left and right.
Nice.
And then, because we talked about arc, flashover in column 4, when you gain a maximum stat or bolt charge, you also become amplified. Amplified is getting a big kind of buff this this episode as well.
He did it again, bro. They're seasons, man. Even the devs are calling them seasons. Nothing changed. It's not an episode. The format has not changed.
With survivability. So really, Arc in general is it's hot. It's gonna be hot.
feasting, yeah.
Oh
Some spicy
man.
dark builds this
Oh
time.
man. Oh
Shock
man.
'em, baby.
Bungie,
Yeah,
you're
there
not
you go.
fooling anybody.
That's end too. Dylan, can you walk us through some of the stuff in the first column as well? We're gonna have
Oh yeah.
some new champion mods to take out.
Yeah, so I mean, like, there's all these really ability-focused items, which is great because there are a bunch of anti-champion keywords in there as well.
Yeah.
But let's say, like, hey, we're going in, we're doing a Nightfall. You can see actually there's anti-barrier sidearm for the first time in years.
Oh,
I think
rocket
that was around
sidearm
for one of
meta.
the first Grandmaster rotations, and it was like, what sidearm?
Right.
Classic.
Dust
Now
off
we-
the call. Let's
Now we
do
have
it.
rocket sidearms, we have Forerunner, so
Yeah.
you can be
Yeah.
like popping the shields, throwing the grenades, that kind
Totally.
of stuff. Anti-barrier sniper, that was a favorite from the past. We just did a big rework on glaives. The team did a crack job on there, so unstoppable there. And then up at the top you can
Nobody's-
see machine
nobody's
guns,
using
and then
glaives.
linear fusion rifles, and fusion rifles are getting the unstoppable. And then in fifth column, you'll see a perk that players may enjoy of
it's
particle
back.
It's back.
reconstruction.
I'm so excited. I mean, I just got my hands on the Vex Mythic last time.
Thank God I at least did a little bit of bounty prep. Listen, guys, I know times are tough and nobody wants to bounty prep, but like having this for the dungeon actually probably will be pretty useful if it's anything like the last one. Having a refilled mag and granting bonus damage, huge.
Last finally, thank you, Malachi. After all this time, honestly, so I have a hunch I'm going to be putting those in the main rotation pretty quickly as
You
well.
don't have Vex yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay, don't rub it. I didn't
What about you?
I don't know if I have a Vex.
I didn't
to
even
be
get it in
honest.
D1, so it was like such a moment for me. It was like a decade of
Well,
waiting, right?
I think there's a reason to go back into Vault of Glass. I mean, we can help him get his.
I'm down. I
That's a
play.
good point.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like some raids I've played 5 times and have like 5 of the raid exotic, right? And others.
Oh,
I've played
you're the guy where
20
you get it
times.
on the first run.
I
mean, that's
usually
me.
am, but not with Vault for some reason.
Jeff.
I don't know.
Yeah, Matt Noguchi out there, you. Oh,
Feast or famine, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So go back to Vault. You were saying.
Vault of Glass. So there are a bunch of folks where, yeah, they want crafting back. They want to do something where they have an end goal. And Vault of Glass is a great opportunity for us to say, hey, you've been going through Heresy content. You want to do some raids. You want to do something else. Like, yeah, we're adding weapons to Strikes, Gambit, Crucible. We have a bunch of new weapons and trials, a new armor set and trials that you've seen in some of these previews.
Yeah.
But Vault of Glass is getting crafting.
Yes.
How do you guys feel about this? I want to know how chat feels first before I say a word. I don't mind. Okay, I want you... can I do an on-screen poll? Let me pull this up. Okay. It's taking forever to load. Hello? Hello? Is this website not work anymore? Okay, well, never mind. Okay, well, we'll just do our own poll, I guess. Put a 1 in the chat if you plan on playing VOG to craft the weapons. A 2 if you're not planning to. I want to see. There's actually more ones than I thought there would be. Okay, can I ask for anybody who is saying that they're gonna do it, do you currently own Vault of Glass weapons? Yes. So why... What is... Okay, maybe I should... I want to watch a little bit more.
Chat goes wild.
Yeah.
You can go get that Fatebringer, get it a couple times as a deep sight, craft it, and then you can make that roll that you've always wanted.
Yep. Yeah.
As you're going through Vault, let's say you want to go through and craft like 5 of the weapons that are available, then you can hop into Master with all your spoils, be going for those Adept versions, and those have a chance to drop with multiple or more perks in those columns. We've been doing this for the last few raids with craftable weapons, but now it's like, hey, I want my Heathen Vengeance. There's a new intrinsic perk. What's the origin trait?
Yes. Yeah.
And then, yeah, let's say I'm trying to go for a combination. I could get 3 on this, and then I can enhance it, make it this crazy rocket launcher that's good, and go into endgame and do some really cool stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So we've obviously we've got another weapons. I know I mentioned some reprised ones, but actually, as long as we're hanging out.
Final blows of this weapon grant Bonus super energy. When your super expires, this weapon's magazine size is doubled for a long duration and reloads from reserves. Because they will probably have new damage perks and combos that are viable for the next raid. Okay, well, this is getting into a separate argument. I don't think anybody can name any time other than the last raid where one specific weapon was required to beat the raid. Because the only thing, like, it wasn't technically required, but, bro, there was like a 0% chance that you were clearing the witness unless you were, like, all on the Cade's sniper. Yeah, still hunt. That's what it is. Like, I mean, that's my point, though. Like, it's obviously, it's optional, and that's the way it probably should be. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm conflicted. Because it's like, dude, I've done Vault of Glass so many times. I'm just like, it almost feels like, what's the word? It just doesn't feel good when it's like, okay, go back to this thing you've probably done 1,000 times and get perks that are like 1% better than this other weapon that you already grinded. You know, I'm obviously like slightly exaggerating here, but like the premise is that like it does come down to like this constant cycle of like, okay, you're gonna go back and craft these things for very marginally better stat boosts, which typically aren't on the damage side, versus their original counterparts. And it's usually like, my point is it's usually not a make or break difference on whether you finish a raid or not. Like having a normal versus an enhanced one. For me to really feel like good about going back and grinding something like this, I want to have that feeling of like, okay, I need this weapon in order to accomplish X task. I wouldn't use the word like feels like a scam, but it's like it feels like it's not necessary. You know, because the thing I do love that there is that is part of the reason why this game is great, is not only the gunplay is good, but like you have a wide variety of options to complete like a raid. Like there's a lot of different combos you could use. But I don't know. Like something like this just it doesn't get me excited about going back into doing Vault of Glass for the millionth time to get one new perk on my Heathen's Vengeance, or like an enhanced version of cluster bombs.
Out here in the menus, Eric, I'd actually love to put you on the spot again and talk about just some of the exotics that players are going to be able to go ahead and acquire.
I will say that this is going, obviously, man, I already know. There's so many people, like, if you disagree, that's perfectly fine. I'm not gonna hate on you for that, but I feel like the people who do disagree with that are more often than not the people that are actually newer to the game or don't consistently play. And that's just how Destiny is. If you're newer to the game, it's going to be better. If you play maybe a couple times a year, you're going to enjoy this way more than the people that they have in the what do you want to call it? The addiction loop, I guess. Just don't play it then. Really? We're going there? You're one of those. This is like, bro. Like you can't even just have like a conversation anymore about like putting things on the table. Not like, dude, I just miss the days when you could like conversate about something with somebody without like it just resorting to like some stupid resolution, you know? Like you could just agree to disagree without it being like just a smart ass comment like that, dude. Just don't play it? Like if I don't feel it's necessary, I'm probably not going to, but that doesn't mean that we can't sit here and talk about it. And talk about why it's a good thing, why it's a bad thing, and talk about like the actual fundamentals of changes like this. People hate constructive criticism. It's not only that, but it's just like I've noticed that a lot of the Destiny community just doesn't like to hear anything that they don't personally agree with. They won't even listen to something that is like a difference in opinion from their own. And I think that's just like a very unhealthy habit to have for anything, really. Not to say that I'm not guilty of that myself, because I definitely do that shit sometimes. But like, I don't know. Like, if you can't have conversations like this, nothing ever gets done. That's my point.
Episode as well. Let's start wherever you'd like to. Which one would you like to kick it off with?
It'll just continue on the path without any actual like
So Barrow Dyad is
constructiveness. I don't
Is
know
that
how
a
to
gun?
word that.
Is that a gun?
Is that actually a gun?
it's hybrid gun for
Our team does not mess around, man. That's so cool. Yeah.
So this thing is a strand submachine gun, and it is also a monster.
That is not a submachine gun, brother. That is a what is that, bro? It's a frisbee, bro. Are we going frolfing? What?
So this thing, as I deal damage with it, it generates this resource called Blight. And next time I reload, whether it's manual or I just run out of my mag, it's going to convert that Blight into these strand seekers that next time I pull the trigger, it's going to fire those out and they're going to bounce between enemies.
Here we go. Yeah.
It does look like this Warframe weapon. Wait, hold on. Oh, it won't let me pull up this image. What is this called? Orvius in Warframe, if anybody knows. I'm not going to pull it up. But.
So we got some gameplay of this right now, actually.
Yes. So, but you can also see it.
Just juking everything.
The Grim is a paid
Wait.
actor, obviously.
Hold on.
Here we go. Yep. So we got some gameplay of this
Bro.
right now, actually.
Yes. So, but you can also
Am
see
I playing? Is that me?
The Grim is a paid actor, obviously.
Tonight is snow.
You can also see that.
Oh my
this thing
God, that aim.
reloads over time. So this thing, rumor is it's partially sentient.
Needs more aim assist.
It has
Buff
its
it.
own wants and
It
needs.
wants to kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you satisfy it, it's going to reward you.
Yeah.
So look how fast that ammo comes back. So what you can actually do is play this mini game where you are trying to shoot enemies to build up that Blight. And then you can pace yourself to auto reload to build up more Blight, and then manually reload to like load all those like seekers into your mag. In addition, it has this perk where dealing damage to 3 different enemies generates in a short period of time. Generates a large amount of Blight.
Very nice. Okay, so equal opportunities to go ahead and clear out crowds, but also to just burn down the big bad that might be standing in front of you, or whichever one's foolish enough to do so.
So there are going to be player questions immediately of like, when you're talking about Blight and those sorts of keywords, is this a weapon of sorrow?
That's a great question. It is not a weapon of sorrow, but I heard another rumor that this thing is a kind of fossilized precursor to a weapon of sorrow.
Interesting.
But I can't, confirm.
Redacted.
This, one of our top 3 favorite
spilled the
words,
beans.
redacted. Okay, so this is the one, and we won't spoil how, but players will be earning this one this season.
Whoever this is on the gameplay team, like they are not invited back to the next one, bro. Like I'm sorry, but like we got to put you on a different role. Because half the bullets are going into the wall. This is, bro. We gotta lock it in, bro. Yeah,
well,
put the div cage on, please.
This thing has a lot of surprises. I don't know where.
Bro.
Leave it there.
Oh my
I like
God.
that. Okay. All right. So obviously, the Barrow Dyad will be one that will be getting added to a lot of loadouts across the entire Sol system. But that's not the only one we're going to be taking a look at today.
Yeah, let's also look at our new exotic trace rifle Lodestar. So this one will be.
I thought this was in the game. leaked a year ago, I knew it. I knew I've seen it. I've heard the name. I was like, wait a second. That's why I thought it was in the game already. Because I'm gonna be honest, I have not touched like any of the recent exotic weapons like at all. Okay, that makes a lot
given
more
to players,
sense.
via the season pass.
Yeah, this was leaked.
This
I
is
thought
the
this was like a
first,
seasonal weapon from
primary
like 4
ammo
seasons
trace
ago or
rifle
something.
ever.
So cool.
And
so excited.
so in hipfire, this thing behaves like the trace rifle you know and love. But when you ADS with it, it's closer to a pulse rifle actually.
Okay.
When you ADS, your standard pulse rifle has this kind of cadence where it's prap, prap, prap. There's like these
Loving the sound
kind of
effects.
spaces in between the rounds coming out. But this thing is more the steady, EDM beat.
Here we go. Yeah, so players are seeing it now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're womp, 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 womp.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And it's like,
Thank you,
it's
dude.
nonstop until
Thank you,
run out of
Ben.
ammo, right?
So we got
Yeah.
burst sidearms, burst hand cannons, your pulse rifles, and now we got a burst trace rifle. I love this kind of stuff, man.
I'm excited to try that out.
Outside of this unique firing behavior,
Something
as
new.
I deal damage with it, you can see down in the bottom left corner we have arc alignment, and what that's doing is charging the coils of the weapon. Once it's fully charged, if I press and hold to auto reload, or sorry, special reload.
Oh, right.
As I hip fire, I jolt anything I hit.
Yeah.
So the jolt is a debuff, right? So you can kind of charge this thing up, auto reload to go into the other fire mode, and then kind of sweep the beam across a bunch of enemies,
Yeah.
jolt them all, and then
Paintbrush of death, this thing. Yeah.
and then the final perk this thing has.
Yeah, it
is
doesn't
when
look
ADS,
fantastic. Hopefully it gets a
anytime you
buff.
defeat a arc debuffed enemy, they explode into a blinding explosion. So it's this loop where I can charge it up, I jolt enemies,
Yeah.
I defeat the jolted enemies with the ADS shot, which explodes
It's a
and
primary?
damages more
I
enemies,
know.
which charges it up. And
Yeah.
it's
The
this-
loop continues, honestly, yeah.
This thing has, I think, a really high skill ceiling.
And this is just this one weapons loop. There's obviously all the different artifact mods. There's all the new aspects. There's the new gear we're going to have available to us through the Dreadnought. Theory crafters, update your spreadsheets. The time has begun.
There's some big brain combos you can pull off.
Yeah, and I will be counting on stealing all of them. All right, so we also, really quickly
Same.
before we move on, we have some new armor as well with Trials. Dylan, can you briefly tell us a little bit as well about the new updates to Trials and the new armor?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll still have Heresy gameplay on here, but as I was saying, like, once you're kind of like, oh, hey, I've been playing that for a bit, I want to go play my core rituals, like Nightfalls, Crucible, that kind of stuff. If I want the endgame PvP experience, Trials is getting kind of a rework. It's mostly focused around the Lighthouse experience. So the main goal.
Why did they put Fate Bringer on the screen? Did I miss something?
What
does
big
this have to
shout
do
out
with
to
Trials?
Mercules on the team that's been working on this for a while, and then
Hello?
Test and everybody too. But what is a Trials experience when it's not flawless or bust?
Right.
What is something where, as a lesser skilled player, somebody that just wants to go in and play some like elimination, get in, get some rewards, and then also visit the Lighthouse and see our friend Saint?
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's framed more around streaks. So you don't need that flawless 7 games in a row ticket to go up to the Lighthouse. Now it's more, oh, hey, I won 2 games in a row, lost a couple, but ultimately got 7 over time. Now I can go to the Lighthouse, open that chest, and then get some cool rewards.
Yeah.
So we had.
Can we get an 07 to trial streamers? Can we get an 07? Bro. Trials mains love this. So here's the one thing I will give them is that the cheating has gotten so bad in this game that like that is the one reason I see this as a positive. The one reason. Other than that, the mentality of like everybody's a winner in PvP gives them nothing to grind for. But Destiny PvP is at a point where there's 6 people playing and they're the only ones matching each other. So it's like nobody cares at this point. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I sympathize with the people who just have to match against cheaters all the time, but like this mentality just in general in a game like this is only going to lead to people playing less Trials. They show up for the one thing that they wanted and they're done. They have nothing to grind for. They have no personal achievement to build up. And like you guys know that phrase that like the end reward was actually the journey, or however that goes. That's exactly what it was for Trials, like when it came out. Like when Trials comes out, yeah, you're gonna go against people who are using like cheesy meta shit, and like it's gonna be annoying, but like it's more about just having the good time with your friends, and that's what I missed about Trials. But I haven't played Trials in a long time because you can't do that anymore. And not only do you match cheaters, but like the way that people play and the meta is so bad that it makes it unbearable, that you can't even like enjoy your time with your friends. So it's like, I just feel like a lot of the reason that people played Trials is now gone. And that was the final straw. So Trial streamers really have no incentive to help people, really. Well, like they still do, but like not nearly as much as they did. But I really feel like people are going to show up for their one thing they were looking for now in Trials, and that's it. Because everybody's a winner now. Everybody can go to the Lighthouse. So I don't know. I don't want to talk about it too much because I really just don't care about PvP at this point. I used to a lot. 90% of Trial streamers don't do carries anymore. Yeah, I wonder why. I don't need to go down that laundry list, but like
Had a big an emphasis on big article.
It's really not
about
worth ruining your
Crucible.
day by playing
There's some comp
Trials.
changes,
It gets
there's
that
a bunch of
frustrating.
matchmaking stuff, but also Trials is our main game, or main focus for that. And you can see the armor that you get on there.
The armor's
You'll
cool.
be getting these pieces like once a week or a couple times
Like
a week.
if you
through
care about
challenges
fashion,
or
this
opening the
armor's
chest.
cool.
But we're going to that kind of Osirian, that Egyptian theme again, and these text shaders great. It's one of those pieces where, okay, I'm gonna be spending a couple weeks in here to fizzle. Oh my gosh, don't carry me, teach me.
Yeah.
Yo, Fizz.
Even
Just
if
don't
you're-
go up against me while you're out there. If you could do me a solid,
yeah,
that'd be great.
even if you're not high skill, it's like you can earn these armor pieces. The cool cosmetic bit is like, oh hey, as a high skill player, I still want that representation
man.
of what Flawless used to encapsulate. So if you hit a 5, a 6, a 7 win streak and go open that chest, you're unlocking different glows. You're getting different cosmetics like ships, ghosts, the sparrow.
Aura farming time.
Right?
That's right.
And then afterwards, how long of a streak can you go on? We're going to have a new emblem tracker where it's like, oh man, I went on a 25 win streak in Trials. I'm kind of hot right now.
If I ever hear somebody say that, they're getting blocked. No, dude, it's really not something to flex, bro. That's one thing that it is missing. PvP needs that. People, they need something to flex. But PvP has gotten so bad that there's nothing to flex anymore. The concept is great, but like the applicability here,
hey, Dylan,
no.
You want to play Discord? And I'm like, sorry, I'm a bit too busy.
It's all right. We get it. You're a big deal. But
I'm not a
no,
big
thank
deal.
you. Honestly, in the interest of being busy, thank you and yours. Obviously, putting together that article. If anyone wants to see
someone
all
just
of
knock
that
on the door?
in painstaking detail, it took a village. So Dylan, to you and the PvP Strike team and everyone, thank you a ton for getting all that information together. I know we have one more topic to move on to, but I'm realizing in my notes I didn't quite get to speak to the reprised weapons. Let's call out a couple before we move on.
Reprised weapons?
There's one in particular I'm actually pretty excited about. It's the return of probably one of my favorite pulse rifles. I've been watching a lot of TikTok. Our friend Epic Defender out there is running Fighting Lion and, Cold Denial. So I've gone ahead and personally dusted off my Cold Denial, which is now also making a return. So if you don't still have it from Season of Arrivals, now's your chance. Dylan, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. What's your favorite role for this one?
Well, so back in the day, I always made sure to have Head Seeker, and it was kind of a niche perk back then. It was like, oh, hey, it helps with one-on-ones a bit.
Right.
But it has been buffed over time. It's been a while since Season of Arrivals. So I'm going to be going for Head Seeker again on this baby.
Yeah.
And like, one of the cool things is that all of the reprisals are going to be dropping day 1 of Act 1.
Cool.
So you can go and get this. There were a few others that were mentioned, or I believe you're about to mention.
Another one. Yes, that's right. We can honestly, I can talk about. Or wait, my favorite role or the next weapon?
I don't care about your favorite role.
Okay. No.
Damn, Dylan!
What is your favorite role? Because we debated this.
Well, there's.
Come on.
All right, it's very close. It's Zen Moment Head Seeker, but
Okay. No, that's good.
It's
That's
just a two-burst machine. But
I don't care
another
that
one
you
I wanna
broke
call
your
out, one
elbow.
that's so well beloved by the community that a member or a content creator in our community named themselves after it. Whispering Slab Enjoyer. Whispering Slab is now also getting reprised as well. So there's.
Thank God. Dude, I've been waiting for this. Oh, dude. Oh, God. Guys, Destiny's back. Guys, this is it. I'm starting a sweatathon. February 4th, I'm starting a sweatathon. Be there, dude. Whispering Slab only for 1 year straight, dude. 1 year straight of Destiny. We're
There's
so
gonna be a
back,
lot of
dude.
opportunities for y'all to go ahead and add this one back into your
The
inventory.
surfboard is back,
Is there gonna
bro.
be any new roles added for this one as well, Dylan? Anything
Oh,
exciting?
yeah. I mean, all of the weapon rolls, they're going to be
Dude, guys,
a bit
I
revamped.
have braces, okay? Don't make fun of my lisp, okay?
There'll be some heavy hitters from the past, but also new perks have been introduced over time.
Yeah.
I mean, for the seasonal weapons too, I believe it was Morgan Dickens, like working with her to see what are all the different roles, what can we call it on the stream.
Yeah.
She put a lot of love into those. Big shout out to the rest of the team as well. Like, I wish I could name every single person, but
Yeah.
as you said, it takes a village, it takes a city to build a game.
Absolutely.
So big love for everybody.
Yeah,
there.
we're just the ones sitting up here today. There's obviously a ton of incredible peers of ours here at Bungie that are behind the scenes building all of this every single day. So to our teammates and compatriots at Bungie, we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much.
Are there any weapons you're looking forward to?
Ooh, yeah, let's really quickly check.
Oh, I'm looking forward to all the new Dreadnought weapons.
Yeah.
They look so gorgeous, especially the new support frame.
The actual new
I'll be rocking
weapons
that
do look
through
decent.
My run throughs the Nether.
I will
watching,
say I'm excited for
my
that,
sisters,
but
going
like,
through the final bubble there, they were struggling and they need some healing.
Yeah.
So I'll be rocking that, healing my teammates.
You're a better man than I am.
Yeah.
But we already
Chad, can you imagine if we played a drinking game during this? Every time they said the word returns, you just take a shot. Like 07. Like that's just GG. That's it, dude.
obviously. Eric, any one last one that you want to call out
I
before
mean,
we move on?
that whispering slab is just so sexy, man.
Isn't it?
Like,
Honestly,
just
what a
like
distinctive bow. Like, how do you
It
not
is.
love it?
It's just like a big flat thing with a string. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
You know it means pain when you see it, honestly.
true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you shoot arrows from it, or do you just take it and hit people with it?
Dealer's choice. Obviously. Depends whether or not you're a Titan.
What?
All right, so we obviously have talked through a lot of stuff today, but there is plenty more for you to go ahead and dive into when Heresy launches next week on February 4th. But before we go ahead and obviously conclude the show, we've got a couple more announcements to talk through, including our next dungeon race. Dylan, this is something you and your compatriots on the community team have told us all about in past blogs and stuff, but a quick recap for anyone out there. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sunder Doctrine race?
Yeah, so Sunder Doctrine, that's going to be launching on February 7th at Reset.
Okay.
Huge.
We're going to do the contest mode.
Chat, when is reset? Is that 11 a.m. Central or noon? God, 11? Really?
Mode as well. Some people call it a race to the top.
Yeah.
So with our last dungeon, we had a podium finish where it was the first 3 fire teams are
A race to the top. Does that mean it's going to be like a tower again, like Spire?
for second, third. This time we're going back to that format of a singular fire team will be crowned. They will be that first to cross the finish line. The really cool thing about this as well is we're kind of mixing up what is the stake, what is the reward.
Yeah.
Last dungeon we did a really cool hoodie with some personalization. This time around
They
we're doing
did?
a trophy. It's going to be nice little trophy. It's not not as big as say the raid title belts that you get, but it's going to be something that's very special, customized, like unique to this experience.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Joe, to the raid and dungeon team.
Are they? Do I need to check my mailbox? Where's I need a where's my prophecy trophy, bro? Me, Clyde, and Sneak, they owe me a trophy, bro. Did you win? Yeah, back in 2020, man. Me, Clyde, and Sneak smoked that dungeon, bro. I might have to check my mailbox.
And then also, Let's see here. Sorry, Henshin Scrap. We're going to be partnering with them to create this trophy, and we'll have a picture of it in a TWID next week, or maybe even later
Only
this
for the
week.
last dungeon?
But yeah, it's going to be something that represents this dungeon, and it's going to be pretty fun.
That's super exciting.
So-
And also, our friends on the Good Super
My
Products team
feelings
have
are
been
hurt.
hard work making sure that all of us that dive in, because I've never done a contest mode in my life, I'm not brave enough.
Oh my God.
There's some stuff to go ahead for the Guardians to go ahead and earn as well. Dylan.
I'm going to say it how it is. I hate that wording. There's going to be some stuff for players to earn. No. The only thing you're earning is the ability to spend way too much money on this. Do they have it on the website? I want to see how much this is. Hold on. Before we finish. I want to see. They do not have it up yet. Not yet. The dungeon ain't out yet, but yeah, I didn't know if they put this on the Bungie reward site though. I feel like they maybe try and like tease it. So what is it? Are these 2 pins? It's 2 pins, like a jacket and a paracord bracelet or necklace. Also, yeah, wait, I just realized this has got the Ron back. Are we going back to the pyramids, bro? Jackets are usually 150. How are they, bro, like, I know they don't expect everybody to, like, to buy everything that they release. But this shit costs more than a year of content does. That's insane. Like, it looks to be, like, good quality, but, like, brother.
Can you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here, too?
Sure. Yeah. So on the screen, this is going to be earnable just by playing through. We have a new.
This is not
I love
earnable.
this note sheet, man. Work shirt. So
Work shirt.
It has a hood, but it's not the hoodies of old.
It's a
This is
work
going to be a
shirt?
new thing. A work shirt that you can earn. The wristband was a pretty big winner for players. They enjoyed earning that last
Coin,
year.
pin, paracord bracelet, and a
And then we
jacket.
also have our Bungie rewards.
Dungeon jackets are about $80 now. Raid jackets are 150. Okay, $80 isn't too bad. I will give them that. I don't know if they're good or bad quality. Have any of you guys gotten the previous ones? I feel like 80 is completely reasonable. I just hate when they say you can earn this. This is not something that you earn, bro. This is not. That is very misleading, and I hate that so much.
The title pin. So go in, do all the challenges, the triumphs. I believe solo as well, which I applaud.
Not that I
everybody does
expect it
solo
to be
dungeons
like
because it's just
earnable, but
insane.
like
Yeah.
But you can earn these.
It's just-
this pin to represent.
it's very
how
scummy,
hardcore
like
you are.
marketing
And then
wording.
we have just general pins and rewards that you can get as well.
Very cool.
So and this
mortals
is
like
out-
I can go ahead and get my hands on something as well, right?
True. And then these are outside of like contest mode. So contest mode, you get that unique emblem in game. With normal mode, there will be an emblem. There will be those rewards, weapons, etc.
Certainly.
But then some things out of game as well. So
Awesome.
to get into the contest mode, 1995 is the recommended power.
Okay.
Outside of that, it's like if contest isn't your thing, once that fire team.
Chat, this does give me a great idea though. I'm gonna start implementing something new. If you watch the next 10 YouTube videos, every single second of it, you'll earn the ability to buy the Sweatcicle body pillow. Exclusive on the sweatshop.com. That's not a website, by the way. That I do not own that. That's not me. Okay, this is for legal reasons. This is not real.
Finishes first, then we open up normal mode afterwards. So
But
Either way, contests will be available for that first 48 hours.
first
regardless.
48 hours
Cool.
too. And then if you want to join in with the community and have a watching
what do you
experience,
mean, Vora?
we have the Dungeon Zone hosted by CBA
Yo!
and Evan.
Those are my roommates. Woo!
Big thank you to them because this is going to be a community-driven kind of like, hey, they're tracking a ton of teams that are vying for that first place.
Yeah.
They
they're
got a
gonna be
shout
hopping
out
through
on the
that. We'll have
main
some pre-show
stage?
stuff that's really fun to watch. We'll also have Twitch drops. We'll have unique emblems to earn through that. So yeah, tons of folks to watch, and then tons of gameplay to jump into on the 7th.
That rules. I can't wait. Excellent. Well, everyone as well.
Hell yeah,
define
dude.
This was in a previous TWID as well.
Yeah, so we have a previous TWID.
Well, I know they were in the TWAB. I saw that. It was really funny because they had the picture there too, and they removed the picture because they didn't see the they didn't see on the table they had big titty waifu cups from Gamer Subs. Code Sweat, by the way, at checkout. Sorry, I don't have a booba cup with me today. And they didn't really realize that until afterwards, and then they had to remove that picture. But they still gave them the shout out. But I thought that was really funny.
We're going to have another TWID just before the 7th to walk through this again.
Do I
and
have
then
the
we
picture?
also have like the terms and conditions for the dungeon race and all that. That's on help.bungie.net.
Excellent. Very cool. All right. Excited. Can't wait to tune in. CB Gray, Evan F. Can't wait to go ahead and see what you got in store for us.
My goats.
But now we have one more item to speak about. As has become tradition in these streams, we've got one more thing to go ahead and show you. Now it's time to take a first look at the newest collaboration that's going to be coming to Destiny 2, and this one is joining us from a galaxy far, far away.
Are you serious?
Chat, I'm going to keep an eye on you. I'm sure you're going to start going nuts soon, but that's right.
Oh boy, where do we start this conversation? Okay, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. It's fire, and this is probably the thing that people are more excited about than anything else we've seen today. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Ain't wrong, brother. That's how you know. You got the first time chatters coming out of the shadows to let me know. Listen, man, I never watched Star Wars. I've watched like 2 of the movies, like more of the recent ones, because I wasn't allowed to watch it growing up because it was too violent. But I know people are very, like, quite literally cult religious about Star Wars. And this is kind of a crazy collab. But besides the point. Yikes, Dead Series mixing with a dying game. Yeah, you let them know, bro. They're probably going to make more in this first day of Star Wars launching that you're going to make in your entire life. So I like, listen, you could say what you want, but it's going to be successful for them. It is. So I don't, that kind of leads me into my other point of like, I don't like that all games are just trying to collab with each other now. I don't like it. It just, there's been, how many collabs have we had in the past year? I feel like we've had more collabs than actual meaningful new experiences in this game. I think it's kind of cool. It is for the people that like appreciate both universes, but the problem is this does not fix all the problems in the game. That's my issue. Them putting Star Wars in the game should not send people who have been shitting on the game for the past 6 months to go, Destiny save, guys! Pull out the fucking credit card, slap it on the table, Star Wars! Woo! Like, dude. Okay. That just shouldn't be a thing. I'm perfectly fine with this being a thing if the game was in a healthy state where people actually appreciated what was happening and weren't, what's the word? Like being doomers about the future of Destiny. If Destiny was going well, this would be perfectly awesome, and I would be perfectly fine with it. And don't get me wrong, I still am fine with it, but I just don't like that this takes priority over the healthiness of the game. That's my issue. And I hope people can realize that it's not, I don't have any hatred towards Star Wars or anything. I really don't. But like this applies to all collaborations that they've done. Because it's just, people, it's more of a cash grab than it is caring about them actually making a good game that people want to have meaningful, impactful experiences with that they'll remember for the rest of their life. If you really want to get on some deep shit. Because that's what Destiny actually used to be about. And it really does not, it's not like that anymore. And I know anybody who's been also playing for a decade will tell you the exact same thing. If you disagree, that's fine, and I'm happy to hear you out, but I don't know. I'm happy for the Star Wars fans who get to appreciate this, because I know there's going to be... I probably will even buy maybe like one of these sets. Maybe actually purchase Silver for like the first time in a year and a half and get one of them. I don't know which one. Maybe the Warlock one. I'm assuming... This looks like Hunter because of the knife. Titan and then Warlock.
Our next collaboration is inspired by a universe.
I hope you guys get my point on that. Like, I don't want it to be twisted the wrong
Star
way, even though I know people
now,
will.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at the new Star Wars.
It just rubs me the wrong way.
That are going to be joining Destiny, and I say there's no time quite like the present. First up, we've got the Covert Ranger set for Hunters. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at that one. This one is inspired.
I just hope
by
these
none
shade
other
well.
Than the Elite Death Troopers. Oh my God, I can't wait.
Such a beautiful cape.
Bro,
Seriously.
Crucible,
Hunters are never gonna
like
need
the
these
few
super
people that
weapons.
are going to be playing Crucible, it's literally just going to be like we're playing a Star Wars game. You're literally just going to see 12 Star Wars characters running at each other.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Don't tempt us, we'll find a way. Yes, this one, and as are the other ones that you're going to see, are obviously all going to be arriving on day one of Heresy. Up next,
Why are you guys saying
Warlocks,
Battlefield
worry
2?
not, we've got you covered as well. We've got the Royal Protector set for you guys, and this time it's inspired by the Imperial Royal Guards. If you've ever found yourself in a throne room in the Star Wars universe, you've probably been intimidated by these guys.
I don't
Now's
get
your
it.
chance to go ahead and do the
Battlefront?
same intimidation when you load into trials or anything like that. This one is obscenely cool. And then last, but very not least, we've got the Shock Enforcer set for Titans. This one's inspired by the classic Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Oh, the
this one
Star
actually,
Wars shooter.
Comes with
Okay.
with an intrinsic perk that tanks your accuracy.
Is that so?
Pretty cool.
It's all right. They're Titans. They're just going to go ahead and punch you anyway, honestly. We'll check on that intrinsic perk. But yes, this one, obviously, to the classic Stormtroopers
very
out there,
bright.
fans of those, Titans, you are going to go ahead and be set and ready to go ahead and don this. Now, obviously, there's going to be some stuff that will transcend across all of the different classes, including a new ghost shell that we'd love to go ahead and show you as well. We now have, let's go ahead and take a look here. This is the DS2 Ghost Shell, as you can tell, operational, but it's inspired by none other than the Return of the Jedi Death Star. So it's a bit of a work in progress, but who among us isn't?
So good, man. I love the effect that comes out of the front.
I know, it never is, honestly. I remember the first time I saw it, like I quietly lost myself, honestly, in a meeting. Thankfully, I was muted on Teams. But yeah, this one has been super exciting. Now, there's also more as a part of this collaboration for you to explore. So worry not, there's also a Sparrow, a ship, emotes, and a finisher, all for you to check out when Heresy launches. But of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't take a chance, for starters, to give huge thanks to our friends here at Bungie that helped put this together. Kelly out on the marketing team, and then our friends over at Lucasfilm Games. It's been incredible to go ahead and work with you side by side to put this together.
Looks like that's it.
Of course, to make sure you're all in the know, and we give you a heads up of exactly where this is going to be. It will not be at Tashi Station with the power converters. These will be available on Eververse when Heresy launches on day one. So just want to make sure you're all aware of that. And also, I got to say, I, for one, am going to be keeping a close eye on the R Destiny fashion subreddit, because I can't wait to see what they got for
Okay. Well, I think that's it for the Heresy stream. So I guess kind of to sum up, are there any other notes? Like, obviously, I hate that I always have to say this, but I do, just for the sake of, like, again, a lot of the Destiny, not just Destiny, a lot of people just think I have this, like, omega hatred for the game and, like, just want it dead. Like, I don't, but you gotta keep your sights on the fact of, like, what actually makes a meaningful change for the game and what doesn't. Will this new season, yes, I'm calling it a season, probably not. Am I going to play it? Yes, because I have fun videos that I want to film. But, like, am I going to play it outside of that? Probably not. Anything else to note? Obviously, like, I'll be live on the launch, and we're going to be... The thing I'm most looking forward to is the dungeon, which isn't, like, a season thing. But, like, I don't know, man. Someone called it last year. I mean, people have been asking for a Star Wars collaboration since D1. This is nothing new. Like, it's Destiny. Come on, it's a space sci-fi shooter. It makes so much sense. It really does. I really wish it had happened sooner. Like, can you imagine if this has happened like during Forsaken or something when people actually cared? Like, bro, people would have been. Well, people are still going nuts, to be honest, but like it would be a different level. Also, that just clicked with me. These armor sets are probably going to cost more than the dungeon is, isn't it? Just think about that for a second. It's the same price, $20 per set. Well, how much has anybody bought any of the last collabs? How much is it normally? Because I haven't bought any of the last ones. 20 bucks? Is that's per? Okay. Per is crazy. $20 for all three, I think would be more than fair. I think like $10 per would be like an appropriate price in my opinion. But I understand that they definitely have like split revenue with whoever they're collaborating with. Yeah, that's 60 bucks for all three, dude. And people are even getting mad at like that's the crazy part. People are being mad at like games costing $70 now, but then people will go out and spend $60 on 3 armor sets. I just do the world of games nowadays is so weird. So I also can't believe I thought there would be some sort of teaser for the expansion. I guess we're gonna have to wait a couple months. I have a sneaking suspicion that the expansion is gonna be delayed. I do. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're still in that state of limbo where I don't really know what needs to change besides having a new game for the community sentiment to change about Destiny. You hope for the best, you plan for the worst at this point, Like there's plenty of other fun stuff for us to do. Am I going to touch the Destiny stuff when it comes out? Sure, but I'm not like I just think doing it all the time is it doesn't feel good anymore. Like people, that's the crazy part to me. Like I don't think I've ever seen people so mad when I do log on Destiny to play now, like on stream. It's never been that bad. Like people have more hatred now than they ever have. And if they launched a new game, like a lot of those people would come back. They have every opportunity in the world to bring people back, but all Star Wars is going to do is get them to log on for 5 minutes, buy the armor set, and then log off. So, I don't know, man. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see, man.